Karibu, welcome viewers. Karibu sana. This is Politics Today. So much has happened. My name is Jonah Simba. Na hapa tunachapa siasa. Au sio, Elizabeth?
Kama kawaida?
Yes.
Jonah, yeah.
Yes.
Chapa siasa.
Exactly. We have two guests today, Elizabeth Michael and Dr. Ella King. They'll tell us who they are, what they do. But let me encourage you. You can always give us your feedback. Tell us what you think about these things. Hey, let me start on my left here. Daktari. Karibu.
Great to see you today, George.
Jonah.
I'm sorry, Jonah. He looks like a boyfriend, George, and I just
Ouch.
always mess up. But that's the truth of the matter. But it's a blessing.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to be here today.
Great.
Yeah. I am Ella Dashanaba King. I've been in Kenya now for about maybe a dozen years. I was brought here to train and teach at USIU Africa. But prior to that, I was with a government parasital by the name of KESI, Kenya Education Staff Institute, and I was literally brought to Kenya to take like the secondary schools and turn them into profit-making centers versus centers that are always looking to the government for funding.
All right. Karibu. Elizabeth Michael.
Yes.
Who are you? Remind us when in nani.
Elizabeth Michael
Right.
is a young woman, politician, and a philanthropist for that matter,
Okay.
and an active politician now.
Active politician.
Yes.
Okay. NAK Kenya.
NAK Kenya
Azimio.
member. Yeah, in Azimio.
Okay. You're a regular guest here,
Yes.
so our viewers, I'm sure they have interacted with you quite a lot. Now, so much has happened in this 1 week. It sounds like a year. Shakahola has happened.
Yes.
Jubilee, the storming of the president, Elizabeth.
Yes.
Did you see that? Ebu, tell us a bit on that, kidogo.
Well, yeah, the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta,
Yes.
we all know he's the party leader for the Jubilee Party.
Yes.
And I think it called, duty called, and he had to avail himself to manage things, and also if there was any damages, to do damage control, and also to clean house if house needed to be cleaned. Yes.
Did it shock you to see the president on the opposing side? We are used to him being the commander-in-chief. Now we are seeing the former president on the other side. Quite some scene here. We've never seen this in Kenya.
Well, I think, Jonah, the thing we have like it's not managed. We have put into our heads like when you're a president and after your presidential term ends, you cannot be active in politics or any other thing. Well, he's still a human being. He has his stand. He can participate if he wants, because I think he's a Kenyan and he has rights, and his rights don't end where his presidential term ends. So in his right actions, I think it was not wrong to do what he did.
Okay.
Yeah, because we know he's the official party leader for Jubilee.
There are two factions here. There's a Kanini Kega group and a Jeremiah Kioni group, right? What's happening here? Are we losing this party? Is it that Kenyans, we just use our parties as vehicles, or what is happening here?
Well, Jonah, in my views, I think this is siasa, and in politics, it's not given, you take it. So when the party starts dividing, well, there are those diehards of the party and maybe the party leader, whom when now this disruption comes in, now they have to, like I said, clean house. If you're not a member and you feel like you want to go to the other side, you are at liberty to resign from the register of that of being a member, which is done at the ORPP, the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties. You just resign, leave the other party members who are diehards in that party, and then you go and join the mrengo that you want. So now I think that is what is happening, and apparently now the dirty linen was aired all over.
Yeah, and there was a bit of tear gas.
There was commotion, you know, there was a former president involved. So of course, if it's a bit chaotic and all that, police are supposed to come in and try to keep calm and peace to prevail. So
a journalist was wounded again. Yes.
Well, Jonah, I don't know if I can't quite elaborate on that further or well, but I don't know if it was accidental or intentional. Because when I was watching news and all that, I didn't get that part, but it's something that is not supposed to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's hold it there. We'll come back to politics.
Okay.
Shakahola, Dr.
Yes.
King. Wow, aren't you shocked with what is happening in Malindi?
I am very shocked.
Right.
And I am embarrassed that this man poses himself as a man of God. It brings a lot of shame, if you will, to any religion that a man of God it can do or is doing such things as he's done. As I began to watch the news, I couldn't watch it all because it was so disturbing. You know, the fact that so many people have lost their lives, and he's saying he's doing it in the name of the Lord. It's this is just my opinion. It's demagoguery.
Okay, demagoguery.
It's demagoguery.
Yes.
Number one. Number two, here's a person who believed, this is just again my opinion, that he's above the law. You know, we have some friends over in America who also think that they are above the law, but they are not. Okay?
True.
And he's apparently is so caught up into who he believes himself to be, till he's placed himself above the average man or woman of God. Right? And in so doing, that is a form of mental abuse. There is a form of something that's gone wrong inside. As far as that preacher man, Mackenzie, is concerned. But I also have to think about those people who listen to him. How far do we go? I mean, where is your sense? Where is your common sense? Where is your God-given sense? What makes you feel that you need to do that? Isn't there something inside of you that makes you stop and think about things before you do them? We all get what we call that internal voice. What are you doing with yours? So I have to question also those persons who went that far, because we have God sense and we have common sense. God sense is based on faith.
Okay.
Right? What is faith all about? Things that we can't see, but we still believe the essence, the substance of things, you know, not seen.
Okay.
So I can be with that. That's the faith part of it. But the common sense is based on fact. So it's left to you as a person to use some of your common sense and your spiritual sense together to weave out and decide what's good for you. Now, I can understand about people believing in people. We believe in a lot of people. We believe in movie stars. We believe in men and women of God. But at some points, your common sense have to kick in. I have to ask about that for those people.
Right. This is not exclusive just for Kenya. I think it happened.
No. I can recall years ago living in America as a young girl. There was a man by the name of Jim Jones.
Jim Jones.
Who started, if you will, a sect of Christianity. And he moved all of those people at that time to a place called Guyana.
That's in America?
No, Guyana is another country in South America.
Okay.
And he was able to convince a lot of those people to drink Kool-Aid that had been laced with poison. And he talked to them, and about how they're going to meet their maker, and so on and so forth. And they served everybody in the congregation, over 1,000 people, this Kool-Aid mixture, which was laced with cyanide, and they dropped dead on the spot. And the area they lived in Guyana was called Jonestown. It was called the Jonestown Massacre.
Okay.
And back in the 80s, I want to say, let me not say exactly where. I think it was the early part of the 80s that I remember that as a child. But it happened in Guyana. But the gentleman, Jim Jones, was from America.
How is this Kool-Aid spelled? Whatever they were given.
KOOL-AID. It's very similar to a liquid concentrated drink.
So it's like some kind of Lord's table taking?
It's a refreshment,
sweet, a refreshment drink.
Like just the way we take soda,
Okay,
or an energy drink.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you have those that you have called juice concentrate that you mix water with. 3 parts water, 1 part juice.
Yeah.
And you expand it, and they use a drink like that. In the States, it's called Kool-Aid, KOOL-AID. And we all grew up drinking Kool-Aid. It's just a powdered drink you put in water, and children love it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, adults who were children.
Super Deep and Juicy Cola.
Okay.
We also have Juicy Cola.
Yeah.
in
Right.
And so they put this in this drink, and they drank it.
Oh my.
And died on the spot. And this gentleman, I believe I saw that he had given all the people 7 rules that they should follow. And one of them was to not send your children to school.
Exactly.
That was one of the 7. Are you familiar?
They're sharing the theology.
I think I copied some of those things.
Right.
But the very first one was not to send your children
to school.
Right.
Let's see if I can find it. But let's continue the conversation.
Because
I put my hand. Here it is. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Because that's exactly what that's the doctrine Paul Mackenzie has been pushing. Elizabeth.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, John, what I've been looking at about the discoveries about Mackenzie, there is this thing that I was really against, like children fasting to death. This person, in fact, his case should just be like, I don't know, he's not above the law. He should be like arrested, because there is already evidence of what has been happening in wherever his church is at Shakahola.
Yeah.
And then you cannot tell a child who is under 18 or whatever the age to fast until they die, because they are going to see their maker or they are going to heaven. That child is not capable of making decisions. Yeah. So seriously, even if like Dr. is saying, there is this common sense and also God's sense. But now what are their parents doing? What happened to their parents' common sense? Yeah. So this is uncalled for. This is not right, and I think the government should have already taken action. Yeah.
Go ahead, Dr. You seem to have
these
found
are the points.
Yes.
The 7 points.
Right.
That he allegedly asked his followers to do. And again, this is from the local news. Okay. 1, that you stop children from going to school.
That is now Jim Jones.
No. This is
Paul Mackenzie.
This is Mackenzie.
Right.
Number 2, burn all school certificates.
Whoa.
Number 3, women were not to shave. 4, sick people were not to be taken to the hospital to seek treatment.
Whoa.
Number 5, to live within his land, now famously known as Shakahola.
Or to live within that 800 acres.
Live on that property. Number 6, fast to death, as it is one way to see God.
Wow.
So the discovery of mass graves at Shakahola Forest near the coastal town of Malindi has shocked many Kenyans, and there are fears that more corpses could be found as the search team continues to unearth bodies on that property.
Actually, Red Cross said there they think that they would end up getting up to 300 bodies because so many reports have been given of missing people.
Yeah.
And 150 of them are actually children. Yeah.
Imagine, Jonah, how that thing looks like. Even if I want to be a pastor today,
Right.
I also need to become a pastor or a person of God who is clever.
Right.
If you tell your people not to go to hospital and they all die, who will you be getting whatever you get from them?
Right.
From, right? Then these graves, seriously, I don't even know how to.
But are you not seeing a danger of, the government going wrong in the case? Because you remember initially, Mr. Honorable Kindiki said this is what he started. Later he said it's genocide, but he started by naming it. There is a word he used. Was it murder? Massacre. Then the president came in with the word terrorism, and then again the minister came up with the word genocide.
Yes.
Now, to put all this in cases, don't you think they may get it wrong? Because the technicalities, you may end up losing the case out of technicalities. Because if you are calling it genocide, is there real evidence for it to be genocide? There is something that qualifies a genocide.
Yes.
Yes. So to call it mass murder, are they going to win? So do we have are we seeing a situation where the state may lose this case again?
Well, Jonah, there is a lot of evidence, and I think the state, I want to put the government first on check, and not just this new government, even the prior governments.
Right.
So by me putting today's government on check, I want to ask them, this is something that has been going on, Kenyans being duped. We had the pastor for 310. We had other pastors who've duped people about healing, but they are just extorting people. The government is the one that issues licenses for mushrooming churches. Okay.
Right.
The government has
so
to
far
cap
we have 4,000.
Yeah, and
4,000 registered and 4,000 pending registration.
And also 500 new requests for opening new churches. So now it is becoming a business, and we know when it comes to church and being in any belief that you are in, it is supposed to bring you, it reconciles you with God. But now God does not create you to die or to fast until you die, right? So all these wrongs put together, I don't think they should allow or give chance for this Mackenzie to ever set foot outside the jail. Outside jail.
All right.
Yeah, he should be a guest of the state forever.
Okay.
And
yeah. Right. Right.
Yes.
Daktari. Yes, please.
Don't you see this as a danger? Well, Paul Mackenzie is arrested for something, but don't you see a situation where even the genuine ones, can't you see that coming?
Yes, it's like, how do you distinguish one from the other when they all say that they are men of the cloth? Right. How do you know what's deep in their heart? How do you know if they have tendencies to hurt young people, to hurt women, to hurt people? And how do we know?
And as you are continuing with that thought, don't forget there was Lent just before Easter.
Yes.
And then there was Ramadan. Those are fastings.
Yes.
Right. Yes. So just go on. Just go on. Let Daktari go on.
Okay, so it's okay.
So
yes.
But these things, like through Ramadan and others, they have been done for centuries of time, and people have come through them with no problem. And I even believe, just knowing having a few Muslim friends myself, if some of them are not well, then they are not required to fast during Ramadan.
Okay.
In fact, sometimes with some of the women, if they happen to be on their cycles, even, they're set aside until after, when Ramadan is. That's been my understanding from friends I know who are of that faith. All right?
Right.
But I cannot begin to fathom how the preacher man, Mackenzie, can tell children to fast until they die. And then the children obeying. Where are the mothers to stop some of that? Are they all caught up in it? It's beyond me how something like that can happen, but I'm very glad that now the story has come to light. I'm very glad now that the media is getting involved. I'm very glad now that the government is getting involved, and that people, even like ourselves, are getting involved and talking about it, because it is a massacre.
Right.
Straight out.
But then how do you draw the line? Isn't there a danger here that even the genuine ones?
There is. And I'm now looking for those who are real leaders of Christ or leaders of Christianity to come forward and help us with that.
Yeah, because
it can destroy what you believe in or who you believe in. And not all of the pastors are, well, most of them are not. They are men of God, but then you have a few who step out, like this preacher man, Mackenzie. But I would like to see those of the faith now to come forward and create some kind of advocacy against this.
Right.
Or be responsible for giving us some rules and regulations and policy around it so that we can catch them before they get this far.
Yeah.
Right. Elizabeth, just before you give your point, the media was stopped from going into the forest. It said they were shooting, they were airing, videos and putting on air images of bodies, and it's not allowed in the principles of journalism. But then there's this talk about those bodies, some of them looking like they had been hit by blunt objects. Some of them looked like they died out of strangulation. So are we seeing a case here where if you are slow to die, there was someone assisting you to die here before you give your thought? Yes.
Well, Jonah, honestly, when we are on social media, there's normally a warning, like when you click this video it might have obscene scenes. So but the media is supposed to be open and show us what is happening on the ground. Yes, they could have been told not to go there because of two reasons. One, evidence can be tampered with without knowing. They're walking all over taking videos. You could leave your DNA there and then you become the suspect. That could be one of the reasons why they were stopped from going in there. Number two is also to stop the airing of what is it called, videos like you had Daktari saying it was too painful to watch. So some of us can be affected emotionally or by watching some videos. So if they are not live and there is a warning that you might see, someone can see blood and faint, someone can see a dead body, and some of us are stronger, some are weaker, some can have nightmares. So it's good to be regulated. I think.
Proceed with your thought. There was a thought you wanted to give.
Like Daktari said, when it comes to Lent and Ramadan, I have said time and again I'm a Catholic, so I went through Lent. So when we are doing this, for Lent we stop. Like most of us are told not to eat meat. For example, if you eat meat every day, you can keep that money aside, and especially on Friday, if you eat a kg, for those 40 days that we are on Lent, you keep that 500 shillings. At the end of the 40 or whatever number of Fridays, probably 5 thereabout, that money you give to the poor. When it comes to Islam, like Daktari said, there are days that they are exempted. For example, if you're sick, if you even have heartburn, you know, if you're taking medication, you are exempted. Then after the fasting journey is over, you can now repay those days. And when it comes to children, I have seen my friend train her kid by now telling them they can fast for half a day. You know, they are trained slowly to do a full day, but in the evening they eat. It's not like going on a dry fast. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, so that is where I echo her sentiments on there are or there should be regulations coming in where danger is foreseen. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now, another pastor has been arrested
Yes.
to be in connection with Pastor Mackenzie.
Yes.
This must be Pastor Ezekiel.
Ezekiel, yes.
Quite some following.
Yeah, he has quite a following.
Yes.
And that's a sensitive button.
Yeah, true.
Don't you see some strife coming out of that? Because these are people who are followed. Seriously. And you are touching the hearts of so many people.
Yeah.
You know, faith is sensitive. Faith is really sensitive.
Yes.
And that's why I would like to, you know, just pose that question to you. Is it now really fair to go beyond Mackenzie?
Well, Jonah, it's for me personally, I don't think it's an issue about being fair or not. It's just picking out or eradicating the culprits. There is no way they will go for someone without, you know, having investigated and found out that this person is connected with this thing, right? So for them to have gone for him, it means something has been discovered or found out about him. The police do not just go after someone without investigation.
Right.
Okay, so if they have connections with each other, then they have to. Someone has to go and what is it called? Has to go and prove that he or she is not involved in the matter. Yeah.
Right. Well, we are coming back. Viewers, this is Politics Today. A lot of issues to deal with today. See you after the break. Welcome back. Karibu. We are talking here on Politics Today. Wow, hapa tunachapa siasa. Au sio? Elizabeth.
Kama kawaida Jonah.
Yes,
lazima tuchape siasa vile inakam.
Yes. Dr. King, welcome back.
Thank you.
Yes. Let me start with Elizabeth.
Yes.
Unga. Yeah. Have you bought is it 56 bob or 150 bob? Unga imefika how much?
56 Jonah. In which Kenya? Unga is still going at 200. I was at the supermarket yesterday evening. Let me not just mention the but
no, we were told that this week Unga will be 150 shillings.
There's a difference when it by actions and the words. The words were said, but at the counter till of a supermarket, I didn't pay ugali flour at.
Yeah, let me confess, I was hoping you would guide me here because I've seriously looked for cheaper unga. Yeah. I think the best option now is to siaga, you know, take to the posho mill.
Well,
and then grind it. How much should that cost?
I mix posho and sifted flour. Sifted is the packeted one in the supermarket. And then there's the whole grain. So I was doing sifted at the posho is going at they're about 85 to 100 depending on where you go or at how much the owner gets the maize. Then for grade 2 it's going for 80 also to 100 depending. So if you are doing even 85 or 90 a kg,
right,
times 2 is still 100 and
Okay.
It's there about 200 shillings. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I have not seen any price going down. And also there is even a shortage of maize. Sometimes you go to the portion and you don't find the maize.
Okay.
So no unga, no ugali on the table.
High cost of living vis-a-vis unga.
Yes.
Is it that we are not going to see this come down anytime soon? Because this week we should be buying at 150, going with what we were told. But it seems there are other things that still make it difficult for it to come to that amount. Basic and essential commodities. I don't know how much you're buying sugar for, bread, the basic things, fuel, petrol, you know. I don't know how much.
It's going
Power.
up to 177,
Yes.
76.
And now electricity, it's now high.
Very high.
Yes.
Everything.
Yeah. So are we going to see more of this? And then there was a discussion from the civil society that actually for the debt burden to go down, they were proposing that a certain formula, you know, it should be against the GDP. It's something to do, we are doing at 61%. I don't know, I'm not a technical guy in that area, but we are doing at 61%. So if the GDP is 55, our debt should be capped at that level. I think something like that. There is a discussion by the civil society to bring down the debt burden. So are we going to see, you know, the high cost of living really coming down?
Well, Jonah, in my opinion, now the government said again it's gonna take them 2 years for all this to go down to the level that Mwananchi will be comfortable. Remember, we were told 90 days. We were told, I was actually telling somebody, I'm waiting for the gas that we were told.
Taifa gas?
Yes,
Yeah.
we were told by
300
May.
shillings?
Yes, it will be between 300 to 500. I'm still waiting.
Right.
But so far, it's things are said, but they are not manifesting.
No, the practical realities.
They are not coming to be. Let me just say that. Well, I think somebody sits, imagines it can happen, says it, but it's not the reality. So, but it can happen. Let's just start from there. It can happen, but dynamics and the way these things are being done, they're not being done in the proper way. But if looked at and done well, I think they can happen. We have potential for doing that.
So there is a bipartisan talk. Where has it reached? Is there still a stalemate?
Yeah, there's a people at loggerheads. You know, we are not going to accept bipartisan in parliament. We want an all-inclusive. Already we know how parliament is. You've seen the Jubilee thing. Already you've seen members of parliament, and that is why you saw our Azimio leader saying, for those who were elected using the Azimio docket, they need to go back to the ground and vie using the other, like UDA. They use the UDA, what is it called? Party to vie to see if they'll get the same seats, and then now they can go to the other side. But now since people have been bought, that is why the bipartisan, we still are at loggerheads.
And by the way,
that.
there was the talks before the talks which began. And, you know, one group was saying, no, we don't want Adan Kainan in your dialogue team because he's our person. He went into office. Adan Kainan is actually our Azimio person. Why are you putting him in your Kenya Kwanza team? And then Kenya Kwanza also says, but you have Kosin. You have Honorable Kosin. So the talks before the talks already are hitting the stalemate before we even start talking about issues. So where are we going to head with this? And I don't know, is your group and by your group I mean the Azimio team, are they contemplating again going back to the trenches?
Jonah, it has been said by our leader that we are going back.
Okay.
If it's Mandamano you're asking, yes, we are, and we are ready until we fight for the rights of all Kenyans and we get what is rightfully ours. Because we can't keep filling people's pockets and they can't keep taking advantage of the common mwananchi. We are the people who elected them and they should work for us. Starting from number one, we have employed them with our taxes, so they have to solve this. When it comes to, you've just mentioned, what is this?
The talks before the talks?
The talks before the talks.
Yes, the issue of Honorable Kainan and
yes.
Honorable Kosin.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to put both sides on check, and especially the one that I don't want to mention.
Right.
The other side, since I'm on opposition.
Right.
But let them stop bringing in trivialities. We are the aggrieved, and we have brought our case. Can it be addressed? Let them not trivialize everything, and it involves Kenyans. Kenyans are hurting. Kenyans are not comfortable. And that is why even the government is now becoming less financed. It doesn't have money because the mwananchi doesn't have money. So they can't purchase, and the chain for buying, selling, purchasing, and for them to get even taxes, they are not going to get money so long as mwananchi is not comfortable. Because if you used to buy 3 meals a day and now you are buying 1, taxes that would have come from the lunchtime meal and the supper meal is not going to the government. So they are the ones going at a loss at a rate of 2/3.
Okay, by the way, let me pause here and say Happy Labor Day to our viewers. Yes, we had forgotten it's Labor Day.
Yeah.
This is the season. Employment,
Yes.
the youth, still high unemployment rates.
Wow. I think employed youths, we are countable.
Okay.
Let me use that statement. That means so many, over 50, 60, actually over 80% of youths are not employed.
Right.
Yeah. And you can imagine by the time you are 34, you are not employed, you have started a family. Does the government expect you to become a thief, a robber, or how?
Okay.
Or how are you supposed to survive?
Let's hold it there.
Yes.
Let's hold it there. Daktari,
Yes.
the fact that one would call for a spiritual gathering and get thousands and thousands of people coming in, do you think it says something about the unemployment rates? Or is it that it's a matter of, if you are to give these people jobs, would they really go for these spiritual solutions?
Well, I'm thinking that when people go for spiritual solutions, they're going for spiritual solutions. They want answers. They want somehow to feel that everything is going to be all right, because we like to say that. Everything's going to be all right. And they're seeking some answers so that they can live their lives in such a way that they can take care of themselves and their family. So I think when they're going for the spiritual side of it, they're looking for a certain amount of comfort, hope, something to believe in. Now, if inside of that you can find some work, that would be great. But I don't know that it kind of works that way. And I'm talking job work.
Okay.
I don't know if it could work that way. I wish I don't have answers in this area for you, Jonah.
Right.
Not only just in Kenya, but in other parts of the world where we have very large unemployment rates. I like to think that there is a way to manage it. I just don't know all the answers.
Okay.
But I do think there is a way. Like, there's so much land in this country. And as I used to say to my friends, Listen, everything grows in Kenya.
Yes.
You can throw a penny in the ground and it's going to multiply because the soil is so rich. So I always thought that if we somehow went back to nature, that we could find some of our answers there for growing food, not only just for our family and our community, but the whole country. Because there are people here who are really starving. I seem to think the answer can lie inside of the earth. But that's just my opinion. I'm not an authority in that area, but I would like for those who are authorities in this area to step up to the plate and give us ideas and suggestions on some of the things we can do for our young people to have jobs.
That's right. Pastoral work. Very easy. We have so many churches.
Yeah.
Is it being abused in your opinion?
I absolutely think that it is being abused. So again, somehow we've got to go back to people where people choose to believe what they believe or don't believe, or they question. It's like when you got these 6 points about what you should do. Did you not question? You mean you want my children to just not eat until they die off? Where were the mothers and the fathers? What did they have to say about that? Did they just allow that to be? Or they were so caught up in it themselves until they and their children, got to go through that, let's not eat or let's fast until we die?
Okay.
I don't have the answers.
Okay. When you're talking about spiritual abuse, I would imagine that when you feel hurt, when you start feeling you're fearing a human being, when you feel too much under control, then probably that should help you raise some, find it like this is a red herring or a red flag. This is something to watch out for.
Yeah.
It goes deeper.
Yeah, we know that people are gullible.
Right.
So I would like to see the professionals there, since we know that a certain amount of our people are gullible. I would like to see the professionals just being gullible in what they do and keep speaking about the fact of what's happening.
Let me ask you this, and I hope I'm not cornering you.
Okay.
Do you believe in submission to a prophet, to your man of God, to your pastor?
To an extent.
Now, how about when that means the way you raise your children, you're uncomfortable with it? Your relationships, how you marry, who you marry, how far should you go? And then there's also the aspect of medical care. Of course, that one you've spoken about it, education. But I'm looking at places where it's almost like gray and dark gray. You need guidance and counsel on relationships, for example.
Yes, we do, and that's what we depend on in our educational system, in our social systems, in our religious systems, to help us to become more of a rounded person, if you will, so that we can begin to think for ourselves on some of these issues. Take, for example, man meets woman, woman meets man. You decide you like each other, and you become boyfriend and girlfriend. Those are choices you made. But at some point inside of that, it is very conceivable that the man may feel like maybe she doesn't really like me as much as she said. Or the woman may feel like, I don't know, he seems to watch everything in a skirt. Does he really like me?
Right.
So somewhere in there within those relationships, things began to occur. And if you sit down and talk about them, maybe you can find some solutions for staying together. Or sometimes you just discover, this is it, I'm done.
Some of our churches, the ones we have, people go there and they fast and they pray because they want to come to America. Is America painless?
Well, no, it's not.
Because we actually go and we give. lots of monies in terms of offering and you know, all that kind of thing, so that one day you may get into that airplane, get a visa, and it's quite an issue. We have services called international anointing. Yeah. Yes. And if you're lucky to, or you're blessed to go to America, you're blessed. I mean, even if you went and, I mean, what do you have to say about that? Because is there pain in America? Because that needs to come out clearly here.
Yeah, there are shysters in America and people who do wrong, even as we find them in Africa. In my opinion, some of the Africans may have learned of some of these ways from the British, from the Americans, from the Portuguese, the Germans, the others. We may have learned of some of those ways.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. But by the same token, I'm just not comfortable with people thinking that if they pay money into something, they can automatically come to America. It's sort of like a lotto thing. Mm-hmm. But those of us who choose to pay or play into the lotto, you play what you think you can afford to play, most of us. But some of us, we don't have that kind of control. We just keep going over and over. And that's where people become gamblers. But some can say, look, I'm going to gamble $300, and if I win, I win. If I don't, I don't.
Okay.
But others at the end of that found another $300 somewhere, which may have been the rent that they now play, and it gets lost. Then what? So it's being responsible for your actions. And a lot of that you're taught growing up from a child. When you're little and you're learning how to play with your friends. What is mama and daddy, mostly mama, telling you about that?
Okay.
So a lot of our training, if you will, come from our parents. But in today's world, we have babies raising babies. So then what? So it's a lot that needs fixing across the globe.
Okay. So this problem still lingers in the US.
Yes.
Okay. But truth be told, you know, we have faith. You know, how do you deal with this? Because somebody is in so much unemployment, so much poverty. We have a politician next to you there. She'll tell you about tribalism and marginalization. Are these things found in America? Because many of our people in the churches believe that once you step in America, you are one step from heaven. How true is this?
There's no truth in that. There's no truth in that. We have lots of people that are marginalized. We have a very big population of people that are homeless. And America's not sure what to do with a lot of them. They're not sure what to do in many cases with them. And they're spilling over on the sidewalks, in front of people's residences, in front of other businesses. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And there's no easy there's no easy answers.
Okay. Okay. Now, no, let me spare you. Okay. Elizabeth. Too much of the spiritual issues. Let's come back to reality, Elizabeth.
Okay.
Yes. Back to the bipartisan talks and the all-inclusive issue. You say you're going back to the streets, right?
Yes, we are.
Oh.
Okay. No.
It was said if we were our leader. Let me say our leader.
Right.
Said we were going on a break. Last time we said glucose break, but now anyway on a light note. But what is happening is we respected that people were fasting, and we respected the Ramadan and the Lent.
Okay.
Now what is happening is since it seems like the other side does not want to listen, So it has come to a conclusion that as the talks go on,
but
so
then they will
does
say,
the maandamano.
but the other side will say, we are listening. You've brought up the you are dictating on our team.
Well,
we are ready to talk, but now we are bringing a team, and you're saying no, remove so and so. That's our person.
Yes. Jonah, in politics, I think we have seen a lot of here and there's. You are here one day, the next time you are on the other side. We have moles in siasa, which we are trying to also prevent. And for us to feel aggrieved is people are using money to get other people onto their side, so as to shortchange the other teams. So even the Mwananchi needs to know what is happening, so that they understand why Azimio is pushing for everything and why we are trying to be transparent about all that is happening. There is nothing that is being hid away from Mwananchi.
Right.
Like they have to see we are refusing this because of this and this. And this is because it will bring favorism, and we won't get what we want. And at the end of the day, Mwananchi is going to lose. And we want Mwananchi to win, because all this is happening because of the people, for the people, by the people.
Okay.
So we are not like fighting for Azimio as a group of leaders. No, it's like the whole of Kenya. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Now, where is this Canaan issue going to end? Because what of if Kenya Kwanza refuses to remove Canaan from that team?
Well, I will say, let's see where this.
And does it really affect the talks?
Well, Jonah, I don't sit in that position where I can talk on behalf of my leaders. Like I can say what I say today represents the Azimio. But personally, for my leaders to have sat down and seen that this is going to affect 1, 2, 3 on our side, then I side with it. Because that means they have already sat, they know, they see, because I don't sit where I can tell or know what they have seen. They are more elite in this, more than I am, way far. So by them saying that, yes, I need to get to know why they are refusing, and there must be a reason for that. It's just the same way we refused that this other side chooses the IEBC people, for them refusing, there are reasons. For us refusing this guy to be there are reasons, which for now I don't know.
Okay.
Yes.
Electoral reforms, definitely, that will be top on the agenda.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
But then, is that really the genuine concern of the Mwananchi? Because Kenya Kwanza would say Azimio is, hypocritical. They are not really interested with making life easy for the Mwananchi. What they're interested with is positions. Are you seeing Honorable Raila ending up in, the Prime Minister's, Prime Cabinet Secretary's office here?
Well, Jonah, we have said time and again that let me just do this in 2 minutes, Jonah.
Right.
So just a quick one, because it's a long story.
Right.
One, personally, my party leader said,
right.
No, before I come to what my party leader said, Honorable Martha Karua,
right.
I want to say this. Whatever UDA is trying to do is to get all the people to their side, and we don't want a one-party state. Everybody has their opinion. 1. 2, when it comes to my party leader, she said in broad daylight, and when it comes to electoral reforms, we are fighting for, Kenyans must need to understand and know this. Hii kitu yote inafanywa ndio in future they don't suffer again. All the time it has been rigged, and wrong leaders get these positions. And my party, as I wind up, my party leader said what? let them open the servers. We don't want nusu mkate. Let's see who owns that bread, and that is what we want.
Are you seeing that server really being opened? We need to wind this up. We are done.
Well, that is what we are fighting for, Jonah.
Okay, well said.
Yes.
Hey, Elizabeth Michael and Dr. Ella King.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Viewers, this has been Chapa Siasa. Hapa tunachapa siasa. Give us your comments. See you next week here on Politics Today. Bye-bye.